We are but visitors on this rock, hurtling through time and space at 66,000 miles an hour. Tethered to a burning sphere by an invisible force in an unfathomable universe. The truth. It's rock. I believe. The truth. The truth is out there.
From the editors of Sky and Telescope Online magazine at skyandtelescope.org, it's time for your weekly installment of the Stargazer's Handbook, your guide to all the beautiful celestial events in the skies this coming week. And if there's any time to get out and get the telescope rolling, it's this time of the year because there's no humidity and the skies are clear. It's cold, but it's there. My favorite constellation, in fact, clears the eastern horizon by 7:30 p.m. now in Orion. Depending on how far east or west you live in your time zone, it's there. Two brightest stars there are Betelgeuse on the left, White Rigel on the right, and of course they have the three-star belt. Now, if you could see in the infrared, Betelgeuse would dominate the sky in its color. Betelgeuse, which is somewhere around 700 light years away, the star is so big that it can't even be a ball like our sun. It's literally like a blob of jelly. Now, you remember a little over a year ago, many thought that it was getting ready to go supernova. Well, that wasn't the case. They think a big part of the outer skin of the stars, we're seeing it from the bottom of how it's situated by our view here on the solar system. It basically kicked out a big chunk of itself, and it was blocked, showing its dimness. And now it's back to normal. But still, many think it could be going supernova soon, maybe in the next few years or the next 100,000. Nobody really knows for sure. But again, it's clearing the horizon by 7:30. You can't miss it. The star Vega still is shining very bright in the west-northwest after dark. Its brightest star above it is Deneb, the head of the Big Northern Cross, formed by the brightest stars of Cygnus. At nightfall, the shaft of the cross extends lower left from Deneb by about 10 or 11 p.m., and it plants itself more or less upright on the northwest horizon. Jupiter's red spot on Sunday night will transit the planet's central meridian around 9:52 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:52 p.m. Pacific. A light blue or green filter at the eyepiece helps a lot. Once again on Orion, as it climbs up in the east-southeast after dinner time, far lower left of the moon on Monday night, look for Gemini also gaining altitude to Orion's left, as seen from the mid-northern latitudes. The head of the stars of the Gemini twins, Castor and Pollux, are at the left end of the Gemini constellation, one over the other with Castor on top. The stick figure twins are laying on their side at this point. On Tuesday, the Big Dipper is going to be lying shyly down lowest soon after dark due north. It's entirely below the north horizon if you're as far south as Miami, but by midnight, the Big Dipper stands straight up on its handle in fine view in the northeast, while Cassiopeia has wheeled down to the northwest to stand nearly upright on the bright end of its W shape. Wednesday, it's a full moon, and full Mars will be shining together in the skies. The moon is exactly full at 11:08 p.m. Eastern Time. Mars is exactly at opposition less than 2 hours later. Mars is big, 17.2 arcseconds wide, and it's a week after its closest approach to Earth. Mars is big, 17.2 arcseconds wide for all of you nerds out there. And it's, again, a week after its closest approach to Earth. Brilliant magnitude -1.8. It far outshines the stars of its background constellation, Taurus. As for the moon, being full, passing in front of Mars on the day of Wednesday, December 7th, it'll be hiding it for about an hour or two if you're in the mid-northern latitudes, and you'll see a near miss if you're in parts of the northwest United States. But even as bright as Mars is, though you'll want to use a telescope at a fairly high power, to the naked eye, the glare of the moon's brilliant limb will hide Mars from a view a little before and a little after the eclipse, right when the action happens. And it'll appear, don't worry. It's also on Wednesday, December 7th, the earliest sunset of the year, if you're near latitude 40 degrees north. By the time of the solstice and the longest night on December 21st, the sun actually sets 3 minutes later than it does now. And the latest sunrise doesn't come until January 4th. On Thursday, the summer triangle will sink lower in the west as evening proceeds, and Altair is the first of its stars to go for mid-northern sky watchers. Start by spotting bright Vega, some 25 light-years away, magnitude 0, the brightest star in the northwest soon after dark. The brightest one above Vega, as I mentioned earlier, is Deneb. Also, Altair, the triangle's third star, is farther to Vega's left. Next Friday, Orion is clearing the eastern horizon as early now by 7 p.m., depending on how far east or west you live. 1 week later means the stars reach any given position in the sky a half hour earlier. Next Friday, the waning gibbous moon will form a big, nearly equilateral triangle with Mars high to its upper right and Capella high above the moon. Next Saturday, the waning gibbous moon rises in late twilight. Once the stars come out, you can spot the star Pollux just to the moon's left. Above Pollux is the star Castor. As for this week's planet roundup, Mercury and Venus are deep in the bright glow of sunset. Try with binoculars about 20 minutes after sundown. Look just barely above the southwest horizon. Venus is by far the brighter of the two, magnitude negative 3.9. Mercury, a few degrees to Venus's left, is about magnitude negative 0.6, probably invisible at this point. Mars blazes in the east-northeast, low in the sky as the stars begin to come out, then gains altitude until culminating nearly overhead around midnight. You can't miss it. Even my wife points it out now every night we go outside. Mars will be in opposition, as I said, on the nights of December 7th and 8th. Mars will be eclipsed by the moon on that day for much of North America and Western Europe. Jupiter blazes high in the south throughout early evening, looking a bit whitish right now. At magnitude negative 2.6, it vastly outshines the stars in dim Pisces. It's highest in the south soon after dark, and you look for the great square of Pegasus above Jupiter in early evening as well. Saturn in Copernicus glows in the southwest as twilight fades. Left of it by 2 fists or more sparkles fainter Fomalhaut, what many call the loneliest star in the southern sky. At some 440 million years old, Fomalhaut actually has a huge gas planet orbiting it. It's the 18th brightest star in the night sky, no less, and Fomalhaut's about 25 light years away from us. Meanwhile, Uranus is in Aries, is high in the southeast in early evening. It displays a tiny, very slightly blue-green blob, you want to say. Neptune is at the Aquarius-Pisces border, and it's high in the early evening, about 6 degrees west of Jupiter, and it's just about 2.3 arcseconds wide. Again, non-stellar in a telescope, requiring more effort than Uranus, I'll tell you that, but it's a bluish-gray color as well. Check out all the happenings in your side of the sky by visiting the incredible Sky and Telescope website at skyandtelescope.org. For the Stargazer's Handbook, I'm Tom Gagliardi.
The Stargazer's Handbook was brought to you by North 13th Studios in Brigantine, New Jersey and Lost Satellite Productions. A special thanks to Sky and Telescope magazine at skyandtelescope.com. Celebrating 30 years on both FM and internet radio. The Gagli Archives.
This is Chris Tarian of the Philadelphia Flyers, and you're listening to the Gagli Archives.
Welcome to the third set of program 816, brought to you by Spreaker.com, our podcasting site that opens up so many doors for, even if you're an amateur, you want to do your own podcast, they teach you so much stuff. And of course, we do our radio programs self-produced here at North 13 Studios, but through that, We've had so many great listening platforms through Spreaker. We find new listeners to all of our podcasts through all the major listening platforms, and you can measure the results from the stats page that shows how you're getting monetized for everything through. And through Spreaker, you can hear us on many other platforms, such as the incredible iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. We're also featured on Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and what's been gaining so many listeners for us in the subcontinent of India, JioSaavn. So go check it out, Spreaker.com. Go to our This Week section of GagleyArchives.com. At the This Week section, you can see the link right there to Spreaker.com, and you can listen to Gagley Archives radio shows. It's all broken up into parts. They also send them out on YouTube as well, so go check it out. Once again, at Spreaker.com, you can hear the classic program 1800 just a few weeks back. And also, not to mention, our tribute to the incredible late, great John Goodsall is on there as well, and so much more to come. So go check it out, Spreaker.com, and let them know you heard it right here on the Gagley Archives. As we continue on, we got brand new music here that comes into our weekly top 20 this week, and it just bowled through last week. Now it's moved from the position of number 9 to number 7. It comes to us from the Stickman Records label, and the band is called Elder, and their new album is called Innate Passage. Elder melds the sounds of heavy psychedelic rock with progressive elements and evocative soundscapes. It's their 6th album now, and it finds the mostly Berlin-based band in the post-pandemic era as veterans at the forefront of a league of progressive and heavy groups working in large part under their influence, a stately presence as reliably forward-thinking as they are unpredictable in sound. They're among the most important acts of their mostly still emerging generation, genuine leaders in style and expressive intention. The new album, Innate Passage, is further proof why. In the spring of 2020, Elder put out their 5th release called Omens, and with it established a claim on their most progressive rock leading interpretation of sprawling heavy rock and roll. Now, of course, 2 years after, coming to the present day, this new release, Innate Passage, builds on many similar concepts, but outdoes its predecessor on every level of performance. And the weight of its impact, interplay between founder Nick DiSalvo and Mike Risberg's guitar and keyboards, the now settled-in drumming of George Eddard, all coming together amazing. And they, by the way, George, who made his debut on Omens, and bassist Jack Donovan's tonal warmth underscoring the shimmer of DiSalvo's leads make this even better. The album's incredible, my friends, and I can't tell you enough how much it blew me away when I sat down just through the first listen. Once again, it's brand new. It's from the Stickman record label. We're going to feature the opening cut here. It's called Catastasis. And Catastasis is like basically a pointedly bright perspective and most complex vocal harmonies that Elder have ever produced. We're going to open up with the opening cut on the album called Catastasis, and it's a pointedly bright perspective and the most complex vocal harmonies that Elder has ever produced. And alongside DiSalvo, Innate Passages features a guest singer for the first time in Barang Alavai, of the band Samavayo, who adds his voice to what's already a career performance for DiSalvo as a singer. His voice is more confident, has more presence, and more reach than ever before. That is but one way in which Innate Passage, this new release, steps boldly deeper into this new era for the band Elder. Once again, it's brand new. Moves up 2 spots from number 9 to number 7 this week for the week of December 2nd. This is Elder, Innate Passage. This is the opening cut, once again, simply titled Catastasis. New music here on the Gagley Archives.
New music now, exclusively on the Gagly Archives.
New from the Stickman record label, moving up 2 spots from number 9 to number 7 this week, the incredible Elder. And again, the album's called Innate Passage. We heard the track The Purpose. We started out the set, the double shot, with the track called Catastasis that opens the album. And it's absolutely an incredible release. Came out November 25th, featuring, again, Nicholas DeSalvo on guitar, vocals, and keyboards, Jack Donovan on bass, Michael Risberg on guitar and keyboards, and George Edert on drums. The vocals on the opening track, Catastasis, that we featured. He's also featured on the track Endless Return by Bareng Alvi. And also the keyboards, also featuring Fabio Cuomo on the track The Purpose that we featured right there. It's an incredible album. Check out their website, facebook.com/elderofficial. They're also on Instagram at instagram.com/elderband. That's ELDER band, all one word. And you can also check them out on Bandcamp as well. You can pick it up in the U.S. by going to Laser's Edge, where you can pick up at least 98% of everything we feature week to week at lasercd.com. Also on armageddonshop.bigcartel.com. That's Armageddon Shop, all one word, ARMAGEDDON shop, all one word, .bigcartel.com. Also in Europe, if you're on the other side of the pond, go to stickman-records.com. And again, this was their 6th album, and what a buzz it's been. One of the great commentaries that Nicholas DeSalvo went on to say about the record, he said, "This record channels the surreal world we live in from a fantastical point of view, not super literally, and how we as humans process that, everyone on their own passage through time and space, and whatever version of reality they chose for themselves. The phrase innate passage appeared to me when writing the record. Passage and transition are necessary in the human condition, and this process is intrinsic to all of us. All the growth and introspection we underwent in the past few years totally made this apparent to me, more so than any other experiences in life so far." Well, this album's so great, and I can't tell you enough how one listen blew me away. And we want to try to get Nicholas to join us to talk about this. That's how much you guys have loved it. Again, their Facebook page, facebook.com/elderofficial. And again, let him know you heard it right here. And again, let him know you heard it right here on the world's most scrutinized and criticized radio program in the world, the Gagley Archives. When we return, my friends, the legendary Steve Hackett makes his way to the Philadelphia area as part of our Philadelphia Progressive Rock Concert update in just a bit. Stay tuned.
A portion of tonight's radio broadcast was sponsored by Joe Bruno Designs at joebrunodesigns.com in West Berlin, New Jersey. If you are an audiophile, are into car stereos, and want only the finest audio quality installation and accessories, then Joe Bruno Designs is the answer. A true leader in automotive upgrades for over 30 years, industry veteran Joe Bruno and his knowledgeable staff are the experts in aftermarket electronics, customization, and outstanding high-end audio performance. Joe Bruno Designs has vast experience and take a true meticulous approach to their work. They are committed to always furthering their technical skills through education and training in all facets of their work. Whether it's a same-day or long-term project, your request is treated with the highest quality of workmanship and attention to detail. Joe Bruno Designs are reputable for their projects and show vehicles, and their passion to perfect audio reproduction stems from the pure enjoyment of trying to recreate the live music experience in a harsh mobile environment typically reserved for expensive studio environments. With a stream of loyal clientele including celebrities, professional athletes, musicians and music industry executives since 1983. Joe Bruno Designs. Call them now, 856-809-0800. That's 856-809-0800. Or visit them on site at 447 Commerce Lane, Suite D, West Berlin, New Jersey, 08091. Or visit their website at joebrunodesigns.com. A proud supporter of the Gagley Archives radio program.
It's time for the Philadelphia Progressive Rock Concert Update. And here's your host, Tom Gagliardi.
That's right, Grace. Not a whole buzz of stuff going on in the month of December, but one man is making his way through. That man is Steve Hackett. Steve Hackett is amidst his Seconds Out tour, and on Thursday, December 8th, he'll be at the Keswick Theater in Glenside, Pennsylvania. If you don't know where the Keswick Theater is, it's literally on the border of Philadelphia, right on the outskirts there, and it's an incredible place to see a concert. Such good people, great atmosphere. And Steve Hackett is amidst this tour right now that he's doing. He's played a few dates so far in the Northeast. And right now, I'm looking at some of the set lists, because, as I said, he's doing the Seconds Out tour. And I've been looking at some of the set lists that Steve's been doing on this tour. And just a couple nights ago, he was at the Oakville Center for the Performing Arts in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. And the set list consisted of Ace of Wands, The Devil's Cathedral, A Tower Struck Down, Shadow of the Hierophant. Then he does some of the Seconds Out stuff, Squonk, Carpet Crawlers, Robbery, Assault and Battery, I Know What I Like, etc. And it's an incredible set list, man. If you're a fan of Voyage of the Acolyte and some of the material that he was doing. Of course, a lot of people say they love the Genesis stuff, but they want to hear Steve do his stuff. Well, it was a year ago this time that Steve Hackett, for the second time in Gagley Archives and Global Progressive Rock Network history, that Steve landed the top spot in the Global Progressive Rock Network's Top 100 of 2021 voting with his incredible release called Surrender of Silence. Surrender of Silence was not only the voted #1 album for the year, but it was also an album that spent several weeks in the top spot of our weekly Top 20, coming to us from the Inside Out music label. This went on to not only just be the #1 album, but as I said, the last one was 25 years prior when he did the Genesis Revisited album. It spent 10 weeks in the top spot of our separate weekly Top 20. And it's an incredible album from beginning to end. I had feelings of Darktown when I heard this, and man, it was just great. And it came out in September of last year, and about 11 tracks on this, and was hot on the heels of the classic acoustic travelogue Under a Mediterranean Sky, which came out in January. And Steve had actually joined us, if you remember, last year to talk about that album as well. But Surrender of Silence is a further exploration of Hackett's love of world music, discovering different sounds, moods, and textures to deliver a rock album of extraordinary variety, power, and beauty. This is the track that's just makes my hair stand up every time. And it was the #1 album in the Top 100 of 2021. This is the piece, The Devil's Cathedral. Steve Hackett, December 8th, Thursday, makes his way to the Keswick Theater in Philadelphia.
It's the Top 100 as voted by you.
Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. On behalf of
The Global Progressive Rock Network.
Hall of Famers.
Right now on the Gagley Archives. Log on now to gagleyarchives.com.
End transmission.
Hi, this is Steve Hackett, and you're listening to the Gagley Archives.
things. I took
his life and then his wife died.
Once again, making his way to the Keswick Theater on the outskirts of Philadelphia, again in Glenside, Pennsylvania. That'll be on Thursday, December 8th. Steve Hackett doing the Seconds Out tour. We featured a track right there from the album that was the #1 album, as voted by your listeners, in the Global Progressive Rock Network's Top 100 of 2021. From the Inside Out music label, Steve Hackett's Surrender of Silence, we heard the track The Devil's Cathedral. And it's an incredible album. He actually does that track live. So, I mean, I'm jealous, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that show. I haven't heard anything yet, but InsideOutMusic.com. You can pick it up at Laser's Edge, LaserCD.com. It was #1 in our weekly top 20 from September 10th of 2021 all the way to November 12th. And again, you guys voted it #1 in the top 100 of 2021. The last time he was #1 was back in 1997, when the album Genesis Revisited was voted #1 by your listeners. Check out his website, HackettSongs.com. And in recent news on Steve, go to your browser right now. You can see some of the latest headlines that Genesis revisited Seconds Out and another live release. It's available on vinyl now. The legendary Steve Hackett is pleased to announce Genesis revisited live Seconds Out and More, the visual document of his 2021 UK tour celebrating the classic Genesis live album. Came out in September. It's available on CD, Blu-ray, CD, DVD, and digital audio, and now as vinyl. See Steve and his band perform Seconds Out in full and sequence, as well as a selection of solo material, including tracks from his most recent studio album, Surrender of Silence. Steve went on to say, "I'm so happy to release my Seconds Out and More show, a spectacular night with the band on fire, tearing into that magic music, combining the true spirit of Genesis with a fresh approach and extraordinary sound under amazing lights. The show is a feast for both ears and eyes, the best of so many worlds." Check it out, HackettSongs.com. Look at all the upcoming tour dates. Also, 2023, the tour continues on. Some of you guys were asking, will he come back into the United States next year? Well, this tour currently, he'll be, as I stated, in Glenside, PA on December 8th. It's sold out, so I know I won't be able to get into that show. Then he's going to be, the last show will be up in New York. And then in January, he's back in the UK for a couple of dates. Then he does a show in Lancaster, the United Kingdom in February. Then he has the Wuppertal Festival in Germany in April. Then April and May, Foxtrot at 50. That's the name of this tour. He's going to go through Sweden, Germany, also into Finland, and then cruise to the Edge, which will be March 8th through the 13th of 2024 in Miami, Jamaica, Grand Cayman. So check it out, HackettSongs.com. I wish I could get out there to that show, but it is sold out. HackettSongs.com. When we return, my friends, we walk into the very sacred vinyl vaults of the great Rufus, as program 1816 takes a look at the late great Italian artist Franco Battiato. Stay tuned.
A portion of tonight's radio broadcast was brought to you by House of Prog Radio, your home for progressive music and so much more at houseofprog.com. At House of Prog, you can listen to a world of different styles of the progressive rock genres, with live programming from all around the world, every day of the week. Listeners can interact with global programming and radio shows based in Northern Ireland, Italy, Norway and the United States. House of Prog Radio's mission is to be the best 1970s-style progressive radio station on the internet, welcoming all genres. With a focus on progressive rock, the genres that inspired it, and the genres inspired by it. House of Prog Radio. Now home to the Gagley Archives live on Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, with replays on Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, and Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, noon UK time. House of Prog Radio, the official station of the Progstock Festival.
45 degrees and chilly here on the outskirts of Atlantic City. Check out our Instagram page, instagram.com/GagleyArchives_radio. Join us next Saturday night as we look at the second part of the top albums of 2012. We only did part 1 a couple weeks back, so we're going to do part 2. Also next Saturday night, we look at the 50th anniversary of Banco del Mutuo Soccorso's Darwin album. Also, Focus, their third album. We'll also take a look at the program from 10 years ago, program 1296, the Mayan Apocalypse. We'll do a nice chunk of that. That's all this coming Saturday night right here on the Gagley Archives, program 1817, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. As we walk into the vinyl vaults...
Hey! What are you trying to do? You ruined my record, man. I just bought it.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen. We look at the vinyl vaults here this week into an artist who sadly left us a little over a year ago, in Francesco Battiato, better known as Franco Battiato. He was an Italian musician, singer, composer, filmmaker, and under the pseudonym, he was also known as Sufjan Barzani. He was also a painter. Franco Battiato's songs contain esoteric and philosophical and religious themes and have spanned genres such as experimental pop, electronic music, opera, symphonic music, movie soundtrack style, oratorio, and here, progressive rock. Well, it was 50 years ago this time that he put together an incredible album. He was for decades known as one of the most popular singer-songwriters in Italy, and his unique sound, his songcrafting, and especially his lyrics, often containing philosophical, religious, and culturally exotic references, as well as tackling or painting universal themes about the human condition, earned him a unique spot on Italy's music scene, the nickname of Il Maestro. His work includes songwriting and joint production efforts with several Italian and international musicians and pop singers, including the long-lasting professional relationship with Italian singer Alice. Together with Alice, Franco Battiato represented Italy at the 1984 Eurovision Song Contest with the song I Treni di Tosier. Sadly, he passed away, and it was sad news to hear last year. But it was 50 years ago this time he put out a gem of an album. It was the second release from Franco Battiato called Pollution. Now, many have said, well, how come it says 1973? Well, it actually came out this time in 1972 on the Blah Blah Records label. It did reach number 19 on the Italian album charts. And there's a lot of great melodies in this, and it's captivating as a follow-up to the album that he did previously called Fetus. Like its predecessor, the album features Baroque textures, some motoric rhythms, weird tape effects, and Battiato's perfectly oblique vocals. Upon hearing Pollution, even Frank Zappa joyfully proclaimed it a genius album. Battiato's core group of collaborators remains largely the same as the debut. This phenomenal band, joined by an 18-year-old Roberto Cacciapagli on keys, appears even more in the foreground on Pollution. Out of the Ashra temple-like riffs and urgent guitar strumming emerge hypnotic grooves and cinematic flourishes, suggesting a futuristic meeting point between Stereolab and the late great Ennio Morricone. It turns 50 years old. The album, once again, is called Pollution. And we're going to feature the epic on this album because it's absolutely incredible. And if you haven't gotten this, go check out his website, by the way, at battiato.it. This is the piece titled Ti sei mai chiesto quale funzione hai. The late great Franco Battiato. The album Pollution turns 50. Into the vinyl vaults we go.
The year was 1972.
Welcome to the Mike Douglas Show. This is John Lennon.
I'm Yoko Ono. We're Mike's co-host this week.
And with us on today's show will be...
1972.
We take you now to Kermit the Frog at the scene of another fast-breaking news story.
Is this microphone on?
1972.
This is a CBS News special report. The President in China. Banquet in the Great Hall.
Quick, Batgirl, untie us before it's too late.
It's already too late. I've worked for you a long time, and I'm paid less than Robin.
Holy discontent!
Same job, same employer means equal pay for men and women.
The year was 1972.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
1972.
Good night, John Boy.
1972. 1972.
Il silenzio del rumore delle valvole a pressione, i cilindri del calore, serbatoi di produzione. Anche il tuo spazio è su misura. Non hai forza per tentare di cambiare il tuo avvenire, per paura di scoprire libertà che non vuoi avere. Ti sei mai chiesto quale funzione hai? Quale funzione hai? Ti sei mai chiesto per paura di scoprire
Adenoi pare televum, si sopromatem mereit nor falledetnem. Adenoi pare televum, si sopromatem mereit nor falledetnem. Iima, si sopromatem regnames falledetnem. Adenoi pare televum, si sopromatem mereit nor falledetnem. Adenoi pare televum, si sopromatem regnames falledetnem.
Quando gioco non rompo violenza non ho nella mente.
dentro di me vivono la mia identica vita dei microorganismi che non sanno di appartenere al mio corpo. Io a quale corpo appartengo? Sto vivendo da 2 secoli. Ho imparato come respirare il mare. Le mie mani diventano suavi. Sotto il mare sta cambiando la mia struttura e il mio corpo è sempre più uguale ai pesci. I miei capelli diventano alghe.
prodotto è il volume liquido che passa in una sua sezione nell'unità di tempo e si ottiene moltiplicando la sezione perpendicolare per la velocità che avrai del liquido a regime permanente. La portata è costante attraverso una sezione